how to live in a healthy home all winter long. Because in Ottawa, we have a really long winter. And long, right.
Winter.
And so we want to make sure that not only do we get to live healthy, you get to live healthy too. And part of it is having a healthy home. So today on the Inside Track, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. And I'm Yetta Dekker.
I'm Ken Dekker.
I'm Candace Dekker St. Louis.
Right. Changes up every time.
Yeah.
I love it. And we love that we get to be part of the DekkerTeam together. We're not always together on air together, and sometimes parts of us are here. And it's just kind of neat to know that for 29 years, not only have we been family, we've really been in the industry together.
Yeah.
And been able to help and really help families, like over 2,380 of them, move into homes that they love and also just thrive more in the home that they're living in.
Or a rental property, becoming a landlord and financially secure.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting because I did a calculation, because I'm the numbers guy on the team.
Yeah.
I did a calculation, and I estimate that we have helped families build more than $200 million in equity and wealth in their real estate portfolios.
That sounds good.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And it wasn't something we always knew how to do. So we have to rat ourselves out, tell the truth, that there was a time where we were about to be divorced and ready to declare bankruptcy and just not doing things well. We were broken. And it really, in a moment, in an instant, we saw something in somebody else's life. In this case, I did. And I wondered for the first time, could I have that too? Was there a possibility for me to shift the way I was showing up in the world, shift everything about our family and our lives, and start to live a life where I got to thrive? And little by little, we changed things, and we started becoming avid students of faith and relationships and business we were already doing okay at, and yet everything else was falling apart. And so that's been transformational for us.
Yeah, and what's interesting is with all that stress of things not going really well, I used to get sick frequently. Sometimes every 4 to 6 weeks. It felt like I had just gotten healed, and then I got hit with something else, whether it be a cold, a flu, a this or a that.
Yep.
Right.
And then what I've learned is that it can be part of the house or the environment that you're living in can affect your health. And the decisions we make on a daily basis affect our health.
Yeah.
And then the stress that we live under affects our health.
Yeah, and so what we know now is if our family could be shifted and turned into something that's pretty healthy most days, then anyone's can. And so that's why we're chatting about this today. We're talking about, in the midst of winter, there is more stressors because we do have stale air in our houses. So how do we get fresher air in our homes? We are cooped up a little bit more. Most people in Ottawa, even if you're active and you go skiing or skating, which is actually a great tip, is spend some time in the great outdoors. Building snow forts. Actually, that's not my favorite. My favorite
Is what?
Snow angels.
Oh.
They're the best. Snow angels. Get down on the ground and build. You build or create. Create snow angels. That's a lot of fun. So here's the gig, though. I don't always dress right for it. So dress right to be outdoors is...
Yeah. So we're not medical doctors.
No.
I'll just put a little disclaimer there. See your health practitioner for advice. And a lot of the things that we've done have helped us get a lot more healthy. And we run hard to serve our clients. We run long days. And you just can't get sick. It's not fun.
No.
You just can't do it. And Candace, you've got children.
Yep.
And those children go to school every day and go into the germ pool.
Yes. Yep. And usually the first 2 years of one of the kids' experiences in school, so that's JK and SK for my kids, every time I have a child going into that, our house is full of sickness, more than any other years. So one thing that we incorporated a couple years ago was using some different hand soap in the house to wash their hands. And the product was from doTERRA Oils, and it's On Guard hand soap. And it kills the bacteria and also promotes health when they're moving forward. So it's...
And you say it doesn't affect your septic system?
No.
It doesn't kill the bacteria in your septic?
No.
Well,
And
good.
it significantly increased the amount of days my kids could go to school, and then I could work. And
It's the most wonderful time of year.
yeah, because
Back to school.
we have a full house, and what would happen is one would get sick, and the next one would get sick, and it would usually transfer to at least 5 out of 7 people in our house. And sometimes the first person would get sick a second time. But once I introduced the hand soap, it would only do that one person or up to 2 people. It never got more than 2 people sick at a time, which was a huge blessing in my world.
And so whether it's doTERRA or it's another brand of essential oil, it's an essential oil that has
antimicrobials.
that actually foster great air quality and great quality on our skins. And the septic conversation, if you're living on well and septic, is an amazing thing just to take note of, because there's a lot of antibacterials out there that actually not only kill germs, they kill the stuff that's in your septic bed, and then you can cause really costly septic damage.
Yeah, they're hard on your skin. They kill all bacteria, whether it's good or bad. I remember one day we had the antibacterial spray, like it's alcohol stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the agents walked in and he thought it was mouth spray. So he shot a shot in his mouth. That didn't go so well for him.
Whereas the good news, if you did that with On Guard, nothing bad would happen. You just get a little bit of cinnamon flavor, it'd burn your lips a little bit, and then you'd feel all good a few minutes later.
Yeah.
So just having healthy things in your environment actually fosters good health.
So for me, it was vitamin regime. D3 was a big one. Vitamin C and B12, and fish oils.
Yes.
I think krill oil is one of the best.
That's my favorite for my kids. Yeah, krill
Yeah.
oil.
Healthy.
And they're really small, so it's easy for the kids. Like they learned when they were 5 years old to swallow
To
those.
swallow the krill
those
oil.
krill
And then we
oil
went to a
pills.
bigger one.
Yeah, no, we're in a bigger one, but yeah, by the end of it, they could take 5 small pills at a time. But at the beginning, it's a big feat for a small child to. And you can get fish oil that's liquid form, and it's on it. You can drink it in a spoon, but it really isn't that enjoyable.
Well, they're flavored nicer
They
now.
have flavor,
When I was
yeah.
a kid, cod liver oil straight up on the spoon. That's what we got.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, maybe we'll talk about your experience with Grayson
Yep.
and Jadelyn a little bit,
Yeah.
because they were struggling health-wise with epilepsy,
Yep.
child seizures,
Yes.
and diet really healed them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we were up to 20 to 30 seizures a day for one of our kids, which dramatically changes your world and their world. And then we looked into the medicine, and we looked at once the medicine actually increased the amount of seizures we knew we needed some other alternative. So then I looked at diet, and I looked at fish oils. And by removing the medicine and changing their diet significantly, removing all sugar, turning it into more of a diabetic diet with high fats, and fish oil was the last key to my going down to 0 seizures a day. And we're over a year seizure free now, almost a year and a half. And we were stuck at about 6 a week, which is not much compared to 20 to 30 a day, or even more than that at one point with medicine. And once we added the fish oil, we were 0. And so that was 1 in the morning, 1 at night. And then Jadelyn's journey started, and because we had shifted everybody's diet, she was at a much lower amount per day of seizures. as her starting point. And once I added the fish oil and changed the last few ingredients in her diet, she's also seizure-free for almost 4 months now. So it really does. If I didn't see it for myself, I wouldn't understand how much a diet changes someone's being and health. Because I'm guilty. I used to eat Twizzlers in the car from appointment to appointment as my lunch to keep me going.
You learned that from No One Strange, right?
No, yeah.
Now she feels like her mother because she eats a cucumber on the way instead.
Yeah.
I moved from Twizzlers to cucumbers. It just took Candace a few years longer.
Yeah.
So the oils and the foods actually create a healthy home. Like actually what's in your cupboards actually makes like sometimes all the difference.
Yeah.
Like in your case, it was 100% of the difference because you're already doing a lot of the other things that we're going to recommend. One of them is just get some fresh air in the house. Like in the winter, it's that much harder to get fresh air quality. So having a heat recovery ventilator, something that exchanges the air for stale for fresh air, swaps it out, is brilliant. If not, what we did for years is we actually left a window open, a crack at both ends of the house so that there was air circulation. And that also reduces the moisture that gets trapped in our really newer airtight homes, which is really important. And not only does the air get trapped, what gets trapped inside there is sometimes mold, is sometimes those things that have been grown because we're living in a moist environment. Now, in the winter, you can also dry it up too much, depending on how you put your dehumidifiers and all that sort of stuff. So it's really about getting a balanced or a harmonious air quality for life and for the house. Because if you make your house sick, you get sick. So we don't want a sick house. So even 10 minutes a day opening a window a little bit will help change the air if you don't want to spend the money or don't, have the money to spend, because now putting stress on your body by spending money you don't have also deteriorates the health.
For an HRV, you're talking
about. I'm thinking an HRV. You're going to increase your heating bills a little bit, and yet it's a really small price to pay for health.
Yeah, an HRV will change the air 100% in your house up to 10 times a day. So you're breathing fresh air. You're not breathing the air that someone else has already breathed.
Right.
And that's where the sicknesses get trapped. The other thing that's really interesting to do is simply put your fans on. You can turn on bathroom fans. You can turn on the exhaust fan over the stove,
as long as it's
vented outside. Because some of them are vented into the house and they just have a little charcoal filter. That's not the best. If at all possible, you can get it vented to the outside. And then if you own your house, hopefully you did a home inspection and the exhaust vents are actually vented out to a vent to the outside of the house, and they're not just vented into the attic space. We've seen several homes where you go up into the attic space and the rafters and the roof sheathing and everything is just black with mold because the exhaust vents just went up into the attic space.
Right, which you're maybe not breathing in if it's been really plastic wrapped well, except it doesn't take much of a break, even if there's a break around your attic hatch. Now all of a sudden, or your electrical lights, like there's all kinds of leakage points. So one of the tricks is to find leaks, water leaks, air leaks, seal those things so that you're choosing how to control the moisture in your house, not letting the environment do it.
Yeah, and for moisture, we used to have one of those things. I always thought it was hilarious. We had the 3 dials on it, and one would tell you which way the pressure is going, barometer or whatever it's called, and one had the humidity of the house, and that was a very important one because if it got too dry, if it dropped below 40, we had electric heat at the time when I was a kid, and I knew if it dropped too low, then as I walked over to the doorknob, I'd get electrocuted, get a little shock going from my hand to the doorknob. I knew it was too dry. Other times it was too moist, and really the ideal is in that 40 to 50% humidity range. You don't want to go much above 50 because especially if you're measuring upstairs, down in the basement where the walls are cool, you may get more moisture and it may condense there behind couches and create mold. So mold needs 60% humidity or more to grow. It needs moisture, it needs food, and it needs some heat. So basements are
prime candidates.
prime place.
And the other reason for sealing your house is when mice or squirrels or raccoons or depending on the size of the hole, if they come in to live, and I've had all but the raccoons in my house. We had squirrels living in our attic.
Our attic, not in our house,
No,
fortunately,
but
because they make a heck of a mess.
They do. We've certainly had mice, though, and what they get rid of isn't healthy for you.
No.
Like, to breathe that in is just not good news. And so sealing your house really, really tight, because you know those little mice can get in with the size of a dime, a hole that small.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that you want to make sure, I want to make sure, we all want to make sure that they live outside and not in our homes, because it actually can make you sick. You're more prone to be sick. And when the air is so dry outside, in our nose hairs and everything actually dry out a little bit too. So if we're living in too dry of environment, we're more prone to get sick in the winter because we don't have the same filtering mechanisms. So just being aware of that it's real. People, like cold itself doesn't make you sick. That's an old wives' tale.
No.
Yep. And because when you're cold, you're more susceptible to getting sick when the environment's cold.
Yep. A UV light. Now, some people think, oh, ultraviolet light, I can suntan under it. That's not the kind of light I'm talking about. Well, it kind of is, but you won't suntan in it because they put it actually right in your furnace duct. And it will kill any bacteria that's in your furnace air. You can also get one for your water supply. Now, if you're with the city, it's not, hopefully they're pretty good. But if you're in the country and you're worried that your well may not stay pure all the time, then a UV light on the intake of your water supply will kill any bacteria that might happen to be in your water.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then also cleaning the ducts in your furnace and your filters as well in your HRV too. If you're not cleaning those regularly enough, then you're not really helping yourself.
Yeah.
In the drums of the humidifier that's on some furnaces still there.
The old style drums.
Oh my goodness. We do building inspections with our clients. Those things are disgusting if they're not clean.
They can be full of mold, and then you're blowing that air past all those mold spores. And mold can really make you sick.
Like super sick.
Yeah. And when you're cleaning the ducts, many people have animals. We don't. Candace, you do.
Yes.
And
I've noticed a huge increase from being a pet-free house to owning one dog, small dog.
Increase of what?
Of like dirt and hair and grossness. And so my house is way dirtier than it ever used to be. And so can you imagine if my floors look like that? What do my vents and my furnace look like?
And their dander
quicker.
Their dander is an allergen.
Yeah,
it gets in your ducts, all the hair and dander. So cleaning them more often is important if you have a pet. The other thing is, surprisingly, I was reading a study this morning. Actually, 70% of pet owners sleep with their pet.
Yeah. I am not in that 70%. I know lots of people do. Yeah.
And you're just more prone to being sick because anything they have, if they have a mite on them or any sort of thing attached to them, they've been outside, they're doing who knows what with, it's just not good, rolling in the dirt.
If they're just rolling in the dirt, that's a good thing.
Yeah, they could be rolling in a lot more than the dirt, right?
Usually that's what they're rolling in.
Yeah, and so that comes in the house, and now you're more prone to get sick. So actually, homes that have animals, as much as they make you feel better and it's warm and cuddly feeling, it can also increase the probability of getting ill if you're not doing all the other things to make sure that your immune system is functional and working beautifully.
And bathing them fairly regularly. Being conscious of drying out their skin or anything, but bathing them regularly will reduce the dander quite a bit.
Right. So having a clean house is actually one of those things that actually gets you to be healthier all winter long is just a little more particular even in the winter than the summer because you're so much more trapping everything into the confines of the structure.
Now plants. Plants are interesting because plants are really great. You add a little bit of plant life to your house.
Real plants.
Real plants.
Yeah, I got a bunch of fake ones.
You got fake ones, they're not going to help you.
No.
Plants
Well,
will
they actually will make it worse, won't they?
I know.
Because you
They'll
create
carry
dust.
the dust.
They'll carry the dust. Yeah. But they act as filters, like aloe vera plants, fern plants, spider plants. They're awesome as filtering the air of toxins. And they also produce oxygen. And they give you that little pick-me-up because it's something green and fresh in the house in the wintertime when everything outside is buried in the snow. And sometimes they might flower, like a little Christmas cactus, you know, something like that. So, but you can also overboard your house with plants because plants give off moisture and you're watering them. If you have too many, you can actually make your home too moist if you're not careful.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem.
I do not have that problem.
Do you have a black thumb?
Yep. I was, though, pretty impressed. My daughter last year brought home a little plant from school that she was supposed to bloom over the summer.
Right.
It's still half alive in my house. Apparently other people's aren't alive, but it hasn't bloomed yet. It hasn't flowered. It's just shooting up like 6 feet tall, this little lonely stem. So I haven't killed that yet, but I was ready to throw it out before I killed it the other day.
Well, we actually just revived that plant that what did we, you overwatered it? No, we left it too dry and then you overwatered it and the roots rotted. Anyways, I survived it. I got it. I revived it. It was, what do they call it? Elephant's ear plant. And we've had it for 36 years.
Or longer.
36 years, so I had to save it. So I think I have the green thumb in our house.
Yeah, you can pass it along to Ryan when you're done with it.
And so having scented candles, sometimes people love scented candles or deodorizers,
That's a
the
good thing?
Glade plug-ins. No. They feel like and smell like they could be a good thing sometimes, unless you're sensitive to them. But then what they do is they're just there to cover up an odor. They don't actually eliminate the odor. So you now get the odor, you now get whatever's causing the odor, and now you get the camouflage of the odor, and you're potentially sucking in things that are harmful to you, chemicals. So a essential oil in a diffuser can be very good. Fresh, and just open the windows.
Healthy for you, too.
Healthy. Just get fresh air inside, because our air, we're so fortunate in Ottawa and in Canada that we actually have really great quality air. We're not like so many other parts of the world where opening a window would make you sicker. Well, it's true.
That's true.
It is
As a matter of fact, one of the articles I read while I was researching for some of this show was that inside our houses can be up to 5 times more pollution than outside.
In Ottawa.
Yeah. So we've got to be careful of what we do. And one of those things that brings pollution into the house is new furniture. You know, it has that new furniture smell, that new car smell. That's actually toxic.
We know.
Yeah, it's the off-gassing off the materials, right? Yeah. So the recommendation is to buy your furniture in spring and summer, not in the winter, so that you can open your windows and allow it to off-gas and it doesn't poison you quite the same.
Right. And another great tip is a hypoallergenic mattress cover, because you know them dust mites.
Yep.
What about those dust mites, Yetta?
They're bad. And then you're
Have
more
you ever seen a microscopic look at them?
It's scary. And
they call them dust mites, but really they're eating your dead skin.
I know, but it's disgusting. And they can make you sick. And so having one of the covers that lets it go through but then traps it and doesn't let it come back out to bite you and get you sick.
Oh, no, they don't really work that way.
They kind of do.
No, they just keep them on the surface so they don't go into your mattress pad.
Yeah. And then you have to vacuum it more and
clean it. Well, you got to wash
it.
Yes. You got to wash it and clean it, and and this is something that I'm going to win the argument with Yetta. We have a discussion all the time. Do you wash certain things on hot water or cold water setting. And Yetta's very environmentally friendly and wants to use the cold setting
water
all the time, right? Because it doesn't wreck your colors and all of that. But guess what?
I know.
It doesn't kill dust mites either. But the
Hot.
dryer will. Just crank up that dryer. It'll kill those guys.
So the idea is with sheets, and I guess I'm going to conform, is to put them and clean them. I was going to say cook them, but clean them in hot water.
Don't cook them.
Use hot water. That's the only thing I like to use hot water for, is a shower and cleaning.
Well, there you go. So
Cooking them in.
yeah, pop those sheets once a week. And I've been guilty of not always changing mine once a week, but that'll help a lot. And then vacuum and change some of your, if you're going to change your surfaces in your house, hard surfaces are much more healthy than carpet surfaces.
Right.
Because those dust mites and dirt and bacteria and everything gets
And mold spores.
locked in there. Yep. Mm-hmm. The other thing that was kind of gross was they said, make sure you have your company take their shoes off.
Outside or in?
Well, some cultures say you got to take them off outside.
Right.
But if you have an area mat in front of your door, especially one that you can wash or clean, then taking them off on that mat is a good idea, and it doesn't drag some of the pollutants and toxins into your house.
So healthy home. You may have some amazing ideas of how, well, it's really about being a healthy person. And yet having a healthy home creates the probability of a healthy person. So if you have some insights that you're saying, you missed this, because I'm sure we did. We've only covered a handful. Share them with us. You're welcome to send us an email at info@DekkerTeam.com. Share those insights, and we will share them on future shows. And if you have to be an expert in this field, because we're just life experience experts, not actually practitioners in these specific elements, call us. And we may well invite you to be on the inside track so that we can share your knowledge and your wealth with others so that they can really have a healthier winter, healthier life.
Mm-hmm. Thriving in your home and life. We are excited to be your partners in moving forward.